I had less hassles dealing with the city of Calgary, where I rented and run my business for 22 years. I did want to say about this order, it did say from Daryl, you are hereby ordered in big capital letters to take the following action. Immediately stop occupancy of the property's main floor retail store or any type of retail occupancy in the property. 2, immediately stop occupancy of the property's upper floor yoga studio, including any type of assembly occupancy in the property. And that was 17th of August.
Meaning that you could no longer service your clients.
I could no longer run my business according to this action. As I had said, basically I was a wholesale anyways, but that's regardless. So as you can imagine, the stress level on that was high. So after receiving this, I contacted my counselor for the area, which is Jerry Arseninoff, and he was extremely helpful. Thought that this was appalling that the Rockyview people would do what they could to hinder business and to hurt business in a time, of course, when we know the economy in Alberta is absolutely the worst it's been in 40 years. You have 200,000 people out of work, and here you're harassing a small business who is servicing the need of people, and as I said, mostly the equipment we sell is a lot of safety gear. So now you're trying to shut that down. I'm going, well, why? This is ridiculous. Anyhow, that started a meeting with 3 senior people at Rockyview with my architect to find out exactly what it is that they actually want and what process we have to go through to get everything the right codes. And we did eventually get that. We were approved on December 29th with our final inspection. This has cost me just under $5,000 extra to have done. That was very sad. And as I say, you asked me earlier about my health, and I said I was in a dark area. Unfortunately, at the time, also going through all this hassle and being served by Daryl, my dog died. So you add that to this stress level, and I'm surprised I didn't end up in hospital, as has some of my neighbors with the stress level. So why this is allowed to continue is beyond me. Either they have to revamp the system. I'd be happy if somebody got fired, because if I ever treated my clients the way I've been treated, I'd be out of business within 2 months.
That's probably a good place to ask the following question. Knowing what you know now, would you start a business in Rockyview County again?
No, I would tell everyone and anyone go anywhere else. You have no services here. A lot of Rockyview has no main sewer, so you're dealing with absolutely everything you have to put in yourself. And for the harassment part of it, no. I deal with most municipalities and cities because I sell product to them. It was interesting because Chestermere said to me, Rob, if you want to start a business and do a shop here, we'll do everything we can to help you. Whatever paperwork you need done and such, we'll help you. Please come and have a business in Chestermere. We'd like to have your business here. So the difference just right there is crazy. I understand already Calgary has changed their process, that if you purchase a building or a shop or a bay, they will tell you if you are allowed to occupy that type of business in that building before you've gone ahead and built or submitted plans and everything. So right in the very start of the process, they say, yes, you can have this type of business in this building, in this area. Rockyview needs to do the same thing. I don't think it's too complicated to implement.
Now, my concern in asking that question is the lashback from your neighbors potentially, as it may have a negative effect on property values. Do you feel that the conduct of Rockyview County has a negative effect on property values?
It's a good point you bring up. One of my neighbors is selling his bay in this complex of 10 bays because he can't do what he wants to do business-wise. in his bay. He's tried everything with Rockyview.
Now, I should probably ask, is what he's wanting to do with his bay, is it legitimate? Is it reasonable?
I thought it was. Basically, he's in the disaster restoration business. He goes in and dries out your carpets and stuff. If you have a flood, vacuums up the old water. And basically, he was parking his vans and all his fans and vacuums and such in the bay. So it's just a warehouse, basically. He doesn't actually do anything in that area. And because he parks a van inside, he's not allowed to do that, because why you would build a bay that has a 12 by 14 inch, 12 by 14 foot door at the back, and you're not allowed to put a vehicle in there overnight, who would even allow the building to be built? That's ridiculous. Yet he was sold the building, and apparently it was up to him to find out if he could or could not do that. Well, of course, after the fact he did. He's now trying to sell the bay. Well, he's having a hard time sell because every business that wants to come in isn't allowed to do anything. So what we've been told now, which I've since learned, is this particular building that was allowed in Rockyview, because it doesn't have any sprinklers and it doesn't have firewalls halfway into the building, it restricts the type of business that's allowed. So basically it's built for offices. Now, how many offices need a 12 by 14 foot rear door? For starters. So this building, which this style of building under whatever code it is not allowed in Calgary at all. It's just not allowed to be built anymore. Rockyview needs to do the same. Just don't allow this building. It would have to have the code go up. Yes, the building would cost a little more, but it should have to have sprinklers, and it should have to have firewalls halfway into the building. Then it would allow more types of business.
Now, is there a message that you feel that the taxpayers of Rockyview, yourself included, would like to get across to either the managers or the staff at Rockyview County?
I'm also a homeowner in Springbank. I've lived here for 15 years, and I have 2.3 acres and a house worth approximately $1 million, and I pay less tax for that property than I pay for this 2,500 square foot bay. I paid last year $7,000 tax for a 2,500 square foot bay. As I've said before, no services. All the services we provide ourselves on this building. Rockyview has 0 services here, yet that's what we pay in tax, and I probably pay just around $4,000 for my property. Now, I don't want my property tax to go up necessarily, but when I inquired about that, I was told by the tax department within Rockyview, well, we're trying to keep the homeowners reasonable and we're charging business more. And I said, well, that's a little crazy when you have, say, a $2 million or $3 million or even $8 million house, and you're paying less tax than I pay for this bay. There's something really wrong. So I think the person that maybe has the $3 or $4 million house could afford a little more tax than I can afford trying to run a business in this area. So buyer beware. If you want to buy in this area, you better research your tax ahead of time. You better research what you can and cannot do, and you better be prepared to have 0 services and 0 help from Rockyview.
Well said. Is there anybody that you'd like to say thank you to in the process that helped you out?
Jeff in the planning department, once we found out what we had to redo, he tried his best to get things speeded along as quickly as he could. He did a good job. He was very helpful. He answered all emails and phone calls. To me, that's service. That's correct. That was really good of him. And as I say, our counselor, Jerry, again, really tried to be as helpful as he could. I know he's frustrated as well with this process, and hopefully it'll change from people coming forward. If you're considering legal action, which I also did, I talked to my lawyer, thought, should I be suing Rockyview? And I was told basically you can if you want, but they are going to use your tax money and their lawyers against you, and they have an unlimited amount of money to go after you, and they'll just bankrupt you while you try to pay your legal fees. So unless there's a group gets together and we do an action together to go after Rockyview, myself, I think I should be entitled for money back on what it's cost me in stress and everything else, but that's probably never gonna happen.
Do you think there's enough people out there to start a class action lawsuit?
I do. I think if we start talking together, and just in this little building here of 10, I know 4 major complaints that right there, 4 of us even went after a class action lawsuit, and I would name each individual that is the biggest problem, and those people need to, I think, get another career.
Do you feel in any way that you have been treated poorly, disrespectfully, bullied by any staff members?
I don't know that I'd call it bullied. I would just think
Intimidated?
inconsiderate. Like, why were we served? I have no reason why we've got a letter to close down from the inspector when we're trying to comply. To me, that's crazy.
So the answer to the county is quite simply shut him down, even though he's trying to comply, and get everything straightened out, fixed up, then he can reopen his business again.
Yeah, ridiculous. I mean, I think most of us realize you have payments, you may have children, you have to pay for food, you have to pay for mortgage. I mean, again, there's enough people out of work. The last thing you want to do is not hinder small business. Small business is what makes up the country. Small business is what runs Canada. Multi-corporations, they don't pay tax. We pay local municipal tax, we pay our provincial tax, and we pay federal tax. And for every one of us who has an employee, all of those employees pay that tax base too. So you want more people working as often as you can, and to keep your costs at a minimum so that we can afford to pay employees and to keep business going.
Well, Robert, thank you very much for taking the time today to speak to the viewers. It's greatly appreciated, and we look forward to hearing responses from YouTubers.
Okay, thank you for interviewing me. Take care.